Last episode, you walked the lost landscape and met the thing everyone fears and almost no one actually hits the trap. We saw that what looks like a dead end in high dimensions is almost always a saddle, flat in a few directions, downhill in the rest, and you slide off it given time. So, flatness on its own isn't the killer, but there's a failure that is a killer, and it doesn't live in the landscape, it lives in the wiring. Build a network deep enough, and the gradient that's supposed to reach your first layer arrives as a whisper. Not zero because you're stuck, zero because the message died in transit. Today, vanishing gradients and the exact rate the signal dies. Here's the mental picture most people carry, and it's wrong. You imagine backprop as a fair courier. The loss computes one error, and that error gets delivered to every layer, intact, so every layer learns at the same pace. It does not work that way. The gradient at layer 1 is the gradient at the top, multiplied by every layer's local slope in between. Backprop is a chain of multiplications, not a broadcast, and the moment you're multiplying a long chain of numbers smaller than 1, you already know how this ends. So why are the numbers smaller than 1? Look at the sigmoid. It squashes everything into 0 to 1, and its derivative, the local slope backprop multiplies by, maxes out at exactly 0.25 right at the center, and falls off fast towards 0 on both sides. So even in the best case, every sigmoid layer you pass through scales the gradient by at most a quarter. The misconception here is subtle. People think the problem is the neuron saturating, pushed to the flat tails where the slope is near 0. Saturation makes it worse, sure, but you don't need saturation. A perfectly healthy sigmoid net, every unit sitting at its sweet spot, still multiplies by 0.25 per layer. The decay is baked into the activation, not into bad luck. Watch what 0.25 per layer does over depth. Start at the output with a gradient norm of 1 quarter. Layer 9 about 6 hundredths. Layer 8 1.5 hundredths. You're not subtracting a little each time, you're quartering it each time. By the time the signal has crossed 10 layers, it's down to 3.2 times 10 to the minus 7. That's the number you'll see at the bottom of today's figure, and it is not a rounding artifact. It's 0.25 raised to a power, and the power is depth. Let's bust the one that sounds smart. Just raise the learning rate to compensate. If layer 1's gradient is a million times smaller, crank the learning rate a million times and balance it out, right? No, because that same learning rate hits every layer. Layer 10, which is getting a perfectly healthy gradient, now gets a million times too large step and explodes. One global learning rate cannot be simultaneously huge for the starved bottom and gentle for the healthy top. The depths are learning at incompatible speeds, and a single knob can't serve both. Here's the consequence that fooled a generation of practitioners. A vanishing gradient net does not crash, it does not throw an error, it trains, the loss even goes down, because the top few layers are learning just fine. What's silently broken is that your early layers, the ones that learn the low-level features everything else is built on, are frozen at their random initialization. You shipped a 10-layer network and effectively trained the top 3. The misconception is it ran so it learned. It ran, the bottom didn't learn. And don't blame the depth itself, blame the unmanaged depth. People conclude, deep is bad, go shallow. Wrong lesson. The fixes that came later, better activations whose slope doesn't cap at a quarter, normalization that keeps activations off the flat tails, and skip connections that hand the gradient a shortcut straight past the multiplications. All of them attack this exact product. We're not going to apply them today. Today, we just need you to see the bleed precisely on a log scale so that when those fixes show up, you know exactly what they're fixing. One last framing before the code. Why a log scale on the figure? Because on a linear axis, this story is invisible. The bottom 9 bars all look like 0. you'd see one bar at the output and a flat dead floor. The decay is geometric, so only a log axis reveals it as what it is. A straight downhill line, every bar a fixed fraction below the last. When you see a perfectly straight line on a log plot, that's not noise. That's a constant multiplier doing its work, depth after depth. Open and end vanishing grads.py. No training loop today, no optimizer. This file does exactly one thing. Build a 10-layer sigmoid stack, run one backward pass, and measure the gradient norm at each layer. The whole point is to expose the product term by term, so we compute it two ways, once by literally chaining the sigmoid derivatives, once by a real backprop pass, and confirm they agree to the last digit. If the chained product matches the measured norm, you know the decay is the multiplication, not some bug. Top of the file, the setup, 10 layers, the sigmoid and its derivative written out by hand, so you can see the 0.25 ceiling and a fixed seed, so every run reproduces the same frozen numbers. Notice we initialize each layer's effective local slope at its healthy best case. We are not sandbagging this with saturation. We want the optimistic number. This block is the heart of it, the chained product. We start the gradient at the output equal to 0.25 and walk downward through the layers, multiplying by each layer's local slope as we go. We stash the running value at every layer into grad norms. Watch the comment. G at S is the entire vanishing gradient phenomenon in one line. Everything else in this file is bookkeeping around that one multiply. Now the cross-check. Instead of trusting the chained product, we do an honest reverse pass, seed delta at the top, and propagate it back through each layer's Jacobian, taking the norm at every step. This is what a real autograd engine does. We keep both lists, chain norms and BP norms, precisely so we can assert they're equal. Two independent roads, same destination, or the figure is wrong. The reconciliation. We compute the total collapse ratio, top bar over bottom bar, and we assert the chained product and the backprop pass agree to 12 decimal places. Then we print the headline, layer 1's norm and how many times smaller it is than layer 10. That printed number 3.207 is the bottom bar of the figure. Nothing in the plot is invented. It's read straight out of grad norms. Last block builds the figure data, the layer indices on X, the gradient norms on Y, and a flag that paints every bar magenta because this is start to finish, a failure figure. We hand it the log scale Y-axis and the grad vanish floor line at 3.2E7, so the eye lands on exactly where the signal dies. So that's the bleed, measured, a quarter per layer, 10 layers deep, 3.2 times 10 to the minus 7 at the bottom, a straight line down a log axis, every bar a fixed fraction below the last. Vanishing gradients don't announce themselves, they just quietly freeze your foundation while the top keeps learning. Next episode, the mirror image, same chain of multiplications, but now the local slopes are bigger than 1, the product blows up instead of dying, and your loss goes to NaN in 3 steps, exploding gradients, and the one-line trick that tames them, clipping.